So it's looking like your boy Rolando Romero has decided to get out of the sport of boxing and hang the gloves up. We're going to talk about that in this video, but before we do that, make sure that you hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed to the channel. So Rolando Romero, man, he's a strange character, real talk. Rolly is the perfect example of a fighter that had everything in the sport given to him that he never deserved. And they put him in a position and gave him stardom before he was ready for it. And he didn't have the skills to back up the talk that he did with his mouth. All he had was power. Now, he was okay, but he was never on the level that he said he was, and he was never on the level for the positions that they put him in. Y'all gotta think, man, when Rolly got his first title shot, he only had about, 10, 11 fights? And he lost that fight to Jackson Marinez, and he got beat every single round. I mean, he might have won one round out of that 12-round fight. And, of course, them making him a superstar, they was trying to make him a star at the time to set him up for a fight with Tank because they saw Rolly as somebody on TMT that could run his mouth, and they thought that he could potentially make a big fight with Gervonta Davis because he was a perfect opponent for the blueprint that they had for Tank Davis. And it was an in-house fight, and y'all remember Floyd was talking about he only wanted Tank fighting all in-house fights, which it went on and happened, and Rolly did his thing selling the fight, but he still got knocked out in 6 rounds. And it wasn't surprising to no real boxing fans that he got knocked out because he never deserved to be in that position. I mean, the little regular title that he won, he shouldn't even won that fight. So what made him deserve to be in the pay-per-view fight with Gervonta Davis at the time? He was gifted a title and he was gifted a pay-per-view. I mean, if you really look at the situation, Rolly is probably the poster child for being spoon-fed in the sport of boxing. After the Gervonta Davis fight, he goes on a hiatus. And he talks about how he's going through mental illness and all of that, right? He talks about how he's not going to come back to boxing. He's going back and forth, but he still gets a title shot in his first fight back in a new weight division. Did he deserve that title shot? Hell no. So he gets a title shot against a 60-year-old man in Barroso. Barroso, that 60-year-old man, put Rolly on his ass again, exposed him, but in between all of that, Rolly had got knocked out in sparring. So he was going into that fight with no confidence in the first place, went in that fight, and that 60-year-old man showed Rolly that he wasn't about all of that shit that he was talking about that he was about. Because, see, Rolly was still in the media telling everybody that Tank Davis caught him, he had a lucky shot. Well, what happened in sparring, Rolly, when you got knocked out by a guy that's not even a prospect yet? Got knocked out by him. And then you eat the canvas fighting a 60-year-old man. So after Rolly's last fight, man, I believe that he lost all of his confidence, but he was still talking major shit because anytime names like Shakur Stevenson came up, he talking major cash shit. Anytime names like Devin Haney came up, he's talking about how horrible Devin Haney was, right? He's talking about how horrible Regis Prograde as a fighter is. He was talking about how horrible Errol Spence was. If you hear Rolly talk, you would think that Rolly was levels above all of these fighters because he's always talking major cash shit. But when you see him fight, he looked like a completely different fighter than the one that's running his mouth constantly. But one thing I can say about Rolly is he is entertaining, right? And anytime he get in front of a camera, he gonna say the most outrageous shit. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to let y'all hear what Rolly had to say about his career the last time he was in front of a camera a few weeks ago. And then I'm going to talk about what he recently said last night. Basically, he going to hang up the gloves. Let's listen to what Rolly had to say a couple weeks ago, and then we're going to talk about the rest.
I haven't even thought about getting back in the ring or anything yet, you know. I'm just taking my time, you know. Yeah, I mean, like, you gotta look at it from my perspective. You know, starve to death, get punched in the face, being there with a bunch of sweaty, disgusting dudes, right? Smelling like ass, or be on a tropical island getting my sucked by 2 girls at the same time.
Yeah.
Which one sounds better to you?
Option B, bro. Option B hard.
Okay, so I'm not in no rush. I don't give a right now.
Now, clearly, you can hear Rollie is a fighter that is just confused, man. You know what I'm saying? He done took them L's. He done been set on his face, not only in sparring, but in front of the whole world. And Rollie is definitely having more than second thoughts in his career. He's not in a rush to get in the ring because, for one, he doesn't believe in himself no more, right? When he was undefeated, he had all the confidence in the world. You know, he was performing well against people in sparring. And, you know, you got these fighters that be sparring heroes. You know, they great in the gym sparring because, you know, sparring is different. Rollie was one of them retarded ass dudes that go in there and he trying to knock out everybody that he sparred with, when other fighters, they're trying to work on their craft and they work on certain things, right? Rollie trying to make a name for himself in sparring with all that wild, roughhouse shit. But see, all of that wild, roughhouse shit, he can't do in a real fight. There's a ref that's not going to let him get away with that. And you seen it in the Gervonta Davis fight. So when he can't tackle you and act like a linebacker, what else does he have in his arsenal? When he can't hit you with that power because he don't have the technique to land this shit against elite fighters, what else does he have in his arsenal? And now Rollie, he realized that. So they talked about putting him in the ring with other fighters like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. And he has a championship belt once again at 140 pounds. Now he start coming to the realization that I'm actually going to have to fight these dudes now, right? The gig is up. I'm not getting anything spoon-fed to me. And all of these sharks is on my helmet. And I'm actually going to have to get in the ring and fight some of these guys if I am the champion. You know what? Nah, I don't want this belt. Matter of fact, I don't even want to box no more. Because this is coming from the same fighter when he was undefeated that said boxing is the easiest sport in the world. He told Teofimo Lopez this. Teo looked at him and said, what are you talking about? Boxing's the hardest sport in the whole entire world. And Rollie said, nah, not to me. It's easy. The only thing hard about boxing is you got to go a long time without beating off. And Teo just looked at him and was like, bro, I don't know what you talking about. See, Rollie really felt like that at one point in time because his confidence was high. But hey, after he tasted that canvas and Ish got real and they moved him from fighting D and F level opponents to A levels like Gervonta Davis, and then they put him back down and let him fight a C level, and he realized that he couldn't even run through C level fighters. And then he realized I'm champion and I gotta fight these real dogs. Yeah, I'm good. Now this is what Rollie had to say recently about his career. Rollie says, boxing don't deserve me. Boxing don't give a F about me. Boxing can wait. Now, what that is, like I told y'all, man, it's a fighter that's been spoon-fed. He's been given favoritism throughout his whole career. And now he realized the gig is up. You really got to get in there and walk that walk that you've been talking, Rollie. And Rollie realized that he just ain't cut out for it. You was able to do some things and make, you know, a lot of money for somebody that can't really fight like that. But the gig is up. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure that you hit my like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed. And y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. And I'm gone.